guys, it's Izzy, and today I thought it's time to finally share the story with you guys where I 100% wholeheartedly, hand on my heart, believed that I was God. Yep, that actually happened before. So if you know me in real life, you probably have heard this story before because I talk about it literally all the time because it's the weirdest thing that has ever happened to me in my life. So I thought it's actually time to share it with you guys here on the internet. But like, I don't think I've ever actually explained in detail like how weird it actually was. Like, I've said it to people, but you know, through this video I'm gonna try and actually get in depth and say like how weird it really was. So yeah, let's get on with the story of how I actually thought that I was actually God. So I know what you're probably thinking. Izzy, were you on drugs when all of this was going on? And the answer to that is yes I was. But, guess which drugs I was on? Guess. Nope, you're wrong, it was antibiotics. Now, I thought I should probably share with you guys a little background information to all of this so it makes a little more sense. But basically, the last few times I have been on antibiotics, I have actually gone delusional. Like hallucinations, just talking nonsense, like literally delusional. And I don't know if that's because it happened when I had a really high temperature. Like when you've got like really high temperature, you do seem to go delusional. Or like if it's the actual antibiotics themselves that are making me go delusional. I don't know if that's a side effect of them, but who knows. But I just know that recently, every time I've been on antibiotics, I have actually gone crazy. I don't know if that's just because I happen to be on them when I'm going crazy, but who knows. So a little story just to say how delusional I actually get. Like, this isn't the whole God thing, but this is just me talking pure nonsense that I literally just can't control. It just comes out my mouth when I'm on these antibiotics. Like, one day I was really ill because like I have a rubbish immune system. Like, I actually have the world's worst immune system going. I think it might have something to do with the fact that I literally only eat pasta, and you know, that probably doesn't do wonders for your body, but yeah, that's my diet. But literally my immune system is so bad that like everyone else catches a cold and I get laryngitis and lose my voice for 3 weeks. Like, that's my level of bad immune system. So yeah, a little while back I was on these antibiotics because everyone else got a cold, and then there was me with like bronchitis or laryngitis or just one of the itises. So I was lying in bed after having taken my antibiotics, and my mum came in the morning to check on me, and she was like, oh, you're obviously not feeling well, Izzy, you know, you're not feeling well at all, take it easy today. And what did jugged up on me say? I just turned to her and I went, biff and chip. So in case you didn't know, here in the UK we've got these little children's books called Biff and Chip, where they go on little like adventures, these characters, and yeah, it's basically just a children's book. So in my mind I was like, my mum has told me to take it easy, I'm just gonna read Biff and Chip because they're children's books and they're easy to read. But my mum obviously didn't get my like wave of thought there, and she was just like, what? Because I was just going to her like, oh my god, I'll just read Biff and Chip. And she was like, what are you going on about? So let's get on to the actual story of how I thought I was God. So, you know, surprisingly, I don't know, my all pasta diet had left me really ill, and I was like, I think I had a cold or something, but it was like an extreme cold, and I was like almost dying of like heat exhaustion because I was like sweating so much. So yeah, I was on my antibiotics, and that's when the story started. So I know that this happened for 2 hours, yep. 2 hours of my life I thought that I was God, and needless to say I am not. But I know that it was 2 hours long because I forgot to unset my alarm clock from the night before. So it went off in the morning and I woke up and it was 6 o'clock in the morning. I came back to my senses around 8 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, at least 2 hours of my life I thought that I was God. So I just turned my alarm clock off and I was like shaking back into bed, and I was so hot. I was literally lying in a pool of my own sweat, which is, you know, really attractive to mention, but you know, just setting the scene, it was really attractive. And then in my mind I imagined that, well, I didn't imagine, I just literally pictured it, that I was holding the entire contents for the entire world. Like literally I was looking at the world on my lap. So on my bed, I've got like loads of different splodges of like flower patterns, and I also had like all my pillows on my bed, and my cat was also on my bed that morning. So I just in my head imagined that every single one of those different things on my bed was a different country. And so basically my pillows were like Europe, and then all the flowers were like America and stuff. I don't know why I thought that, but like in my head that's what they were. And I was like, oh my goodness, if I get up from my bed, I will cause a giant earthquake, right, and destroy the entire world. I can't even move my legs because that will move the bedding, which in my mind, you know, was the earth. So I was lying in bed, completely ill and completely out of it, lying dead still for 2 hours, guys. 2 hours of my life, petrified that if I moved my legs or anything in the slightest, I would just like destroy the entire world. And also I thought I'd mention the fact that I didn't know who I was. Like in my mind I was literally God. Like I didn't know who Izzy was. I didn't know that she was a girl from England. I literally thought that I was God and that I was lying just to protect the entire world. And I was like, my little world, don't worry, I will protect you, nothing will happen to you. So I was lying dead still, like actually convinced that if I moved the slightest, the end of the world would happen. And the reason I came back to my senses and realised, hang on a minute, I'm not God, was because my cat was lying on my bed, and I thought that my cat was Bulgaria. Like in my mind, I actually was convinced that that wasn't a cat, that was the country Bulgaria. Right, my cat started getting up and moving about, and in my head I was like, oh my goodness, Bulgaria has come to life. Bulgaria is walking around. How is this happening? How is the country Bulgaria like actually coming alive? And you guys have to like remember that I wholeheartedly believed that what I was seeing is what it is. So imagine you're looking at a map of the world and then Bulgaria starts getting up and walking around. I was losing my mind. I mean, my mind was already lost, but I was losing it further. I was like at the stage of panic. I was like, what is going on? What? So then I remember like reality and the imagination sort of merging into one and slowly reality taking over, and I was coming back to my senses, and I was like, what? It was the weirdest thing I have ever experienced in my life. So I literally just was lying in bed for like another 5 minutes, like contemplating what happened. I was like, okay, calming down. I was like, oh yes, I'm Izzy, I'm 15 years old, because it happened when I was 15, and I can't believe I haven't shared the story since then. So then I walked into my kitchen and I was like, Mum, I just spent the last 2 hours of my life thinking that I was God. And I don't know if it says something about me as a person, but she was just like, okay Izzy, okay. Like, it wasn't the weirdest thing that I've ever said to her in my life. So that was my video about my little hallucination where I thought that I was the creator and protector of the world. I don't even know, guys. I literally don't even know. I said legitly. Did you hear that? It was kind of like half legit, half literally. I don't know if you guys caught when I said it, but I was like legitimately. Yeah, let me know if you guys have ever experienced the same thing. I bet all of you are like hashtag relatable Izzy. That was the most relatable video you've ever made. That happens to me all the time. Let me know in the comments if something similar has actually happened to you. That would be great if you could do that, and let me know that I'm not actually crazy. So yeah, you can check out all my social media links in the description below. You know, follow on Twitter for updates about my existential crisis, and yeah, that's all I really have to say on this little story. Let me know if you want me to make more little stories about my life, because believe me, there are a lot of weird things that have happened in my life. And yeah, I will see you guys next Wednesday. You know it, you know it. Yeah, see you guys then. Bye. Yeah, let's just get started. I should probably stop doing that, because every time I do that I shake my camera, because I don't think you guys understand my setup for my camera. Honestly, it's just a box and a biscuit tin and a book. I'm using Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, in case you're wondering.